be here. Thank you very much. I get great opportunity to hang out with some people I like a lot.
When are they coming on?
But
me.
to be clear,
Well,
Mr. Tushy and Animated Evil have both shown me extreme kindness on Twitter and making me feel included in the gaming community. I showed up to community game night, and they're always happy to see you. Mild sexual harassment, though not unwanted. I can't speak highly enough of those two. Thank you.
Pest, one thing I'd like to say, you are one of the OG from the start as well, aren't you? Remember when we played, I think it was Destiny 2, I think, wasn't it?
I'm not sure when I first joined. I know I was gone for a while and I've came back, but...
It was literally right at the start, the first week or so you came on, I think, first couple of weeks.
Well, there you go. I didn't realize.
No. Don't want to see my ugly face.
I was trying to see if I could see.
Spit up all over my keyboard. Jesus.
Oh.
What are you trying to do?
There we go. I was trying to see if you were trying to go red when a friendly pest was giving you compliments. I thought you were going to go red in the face.
I'm always red, like a tomato. It's the sun.
It is at the minute, yeah. It is. But yeah, thanks for coming on, the friendly pest. I know Mr. Tushy's been pressing you for a while, and I've meant to get you on. It's just a case of when. I'm trying to get more guests on now on a frequent basis. You've been playing many games recently? Most likely been playing the Sea of Thieves.
Me specifically, I've been playing a huge variety of things. I was really enjoying Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then I got distracted from that a little bit. The Sea of Thieves expansion came out, and I was really enjoying that up until the third tale when I was inspired by that song, and then I spent the next week and a half making the shanty. Since then, whatever drops into Game Pass I check out, but I do want to go back and finish Yakuza.
Yeah, Yakuza is very good. I can't comment on the game you're playing, but it's getting really good reviews, and everyone knows that's playing it's enjoying it. I'm currently on Yakuza Kiwami. I am. Just like the man in the middle with glasses on is as well. There he is.
I certainly am, yes. I certainly am.
But yeah, it sounds like you're playing some good games of Friendly Pest. I also deal with pests, but not humans.
But funny story, I changed my name to that because I like dropping in and giving people a sarcastic jab or something like that here and there, and it's so hard to read tone online that I piss some people off pretty severely. So I changed the name to try to hint at me trying to be friendly and pesty, but I don't know if that always works.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That is.
Could be worse. You could be named Tushy.
Right, yeah. Mr. Tushy. So, Removable, you're back.
Who's that? Oh, yeah, well, I am for a little bit. Yeah, I've kind of been dealing with the new daddy issue, new child, and dealing with that, as you do. But, yeah, I'm back for a short period. It's the joys of fatherhood, It's no sleep, no, screaming, high-pitched noise, and that's just my missus.
Need a pair of these.
I actually have got myself some noise cancelling headphones now, so yes, it does help, and it really does help.
That helps until your wife reaches over and pops you upside the head to get your attention. It's your turn.
She doesn't come near me. She throws things. That's the best.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You should say that, Cerebral. I still remember the moment when Fork Boy was live. He was live on.
Can he get a slap?
Xbox Beyond the Box, and his missus. No, this was not staged. You could tell by the way he got smacked. He smacked him live on the air, and it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I was watching that live. Yeah, that's funny.
I wasn't live, but I heard about it. So I
was on the show when I was on the show when that was my introductory show when Fork Boy got slapped on screen. That was my first ever podcast when she popped him. She popped him good.
Yeah, that was not staged. You could tell. You did not see that coming.
His face was a picture, wasn't it?
It was.
Bless his heart.
But-
And you'll be able to rib about that after this show, in fact.
Yeah. I suppose you haven't really been playing many games, have you? I know you've done a couple of reviews, so you must have found some time for some games.
I now situate my gaming time for about 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., which gives me about an hour's sleep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have managed to get something done. Ironically, I've been playing MechWarrior 5, and right now I'm also reviewing a streaming service for retro games, which
Interesting.
yeah, so that hopefully that'll be coming out sometime this week, maybe. Hopefully this week, if I can get the actual editing software to play up. But yeah, that's kind of it's thrown me back because it's just reminded me how far we've come as gaming, but also it reminds me of the old school style of gaming where no saves exist. So
Yes,
it was
you are
it's kind of
right.
thrown me back in the past, really, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, it'll be hopefully I'll be able to provide you some information quite soon about it.
Yeah, sounds good. That does.
Are they doing all consoles? Are you allowed to say?
Yes. It's actually a streaming service,
Yeah.
and basically it picks up everything retro. So anything from Commodore, Atari, Mega Drive, Genesis. And what's a good thing about it is the games, say for like the Mega Drive, for instance, back in the days, they would appear on the Commodore, the Spectrum, the Atari, and the Mega Drive. They actually have that one particular game on every platform for you to play. So say, for instance, the Mega Drive version is much better or actually had an extra level.
Yeah.
You can play that version. Also, you want to go back to the Spectrum version, which is a very kind of different graphical game and sometimes different game entirely. You can also play that version. So the developers have actually really put the boat out in this, and I think it's going to be a good little system. My quote so far is, "It's the Game Pass Ultimate for retro games."
Really? Oh, that's good.
Should give
What
you
console does it go up to?
It's currently they're adding games to it. So I think currently at the moment it's
Dreamcast.
NES. I think they're just at the moment they're trying to build up from Atari, really early 2000s,
Yeah.
2700 up to I think it's currently at SNES.
Nice.
And they're trying to build up that package. But from what I've heard is they are trying to get it across all platforms, the early 80s and 90s platforms. It's generally an idea to try and get the gaming preservation aspect to it. There's a lot of stuff in there I didn't even know existed. And you're like, wow, that's, I know. But I said, hopefully my review should give you all a little bit of information and hits about that.
Ooh. There's one person in the chat. I just want to say one thing. Timmy!
It's Timmy!
Timmy.
It had to be done.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, Cerebral Paul, welcome back on, and I hope your move went well, but by sounds of it, it is what it is.
It helps if I unmute myself, because that way I'm not coughing in your all's ear. So, thank you. Glad to be back. Glad to finally be set up here so I can do this again. I know you missed me. I didn't miss any one of you. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. Did we do a show last? We did do a show last.
No, you did not. You actually did. You actually, regardless of my being there or not, you chose not to do a show for whatever reason.
I can't remember why.
We've done a show last
Probably
week.
just because you knew it'd be no good without the American.
I did
That
I
is
do
true.
one last
We've
week?
done a show last week. We just
Yes,
missed
you
one
did.
before.
Oh, it's the
week
week
before.
before. My
Yeah.
memory's terrible. That's it. Yeah. So I presume you've not been playing a lot of games, really, Paul, then?
I have been doing all kinds of little itty bitty things. In fact, I've just for fun, and since it's been a matter of discussion, which we'll talk about later, I loaded up the original Psychonauts. If the new one's like the old one, God mode is not going to help me. It's a platformer, okay? Look, I fell. I didn't make the jump again. Okay, I'm dead. Not dead. I just, okay, whatever. Me and Animated, we did a little bit of It Takes Two yesterday, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, It Takes Two, yeah.
Yeah, you're really quiet even when we can hear you, dude. Turn your mic on.
We'll do. We'll sort it out.
How did you guys find that? That's one game on my list I've wanted to try.
It's to me anyway. It is more of a platformer than A Way Out was, and it has some more difficult aspects to it for me. But it is enjoyable. I don't know what Animated's take is on that.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed what we played of it. We haven't played a whole lot because you were busy. You had to go. So I was enjoying it.
We did the whole first section, but it did seem like more of a platformer than the original one was.
Yeah.
Well, not original, but the first game they did that was co-op like that split screen, running two different instances at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a lot more jumping around, a lot more. It just, like I said, so far, and this is just based on the little bit we did for about an hour and a half. I prefer the first one more because it was based on real world physics, real world reactions. Sure. This is, but this is fun. This is an interesting story so far. This is like, what did I call it when I first started up? Oh yeah, a divorce simulator, because it's basically that's kind of what the story is about. It's about parents that are getting divorced, and the daughter wishes they would, work on things together, and all of a sudden they're in doll form trying to work on things together. In the world's messiest workshop garage I have ever seen. I mean, this guy is not child safe at all. Somebody's gonna die. Okay,
that's why she's getting divorced.
That's what the argument's been about.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. I told you to clean this up. But I've been playing what is it? Shadow Warrior 2 or something, whatever it's called, on PC.
Oh, yes.
Having a lot of fun with that. I love that game so far. I just love the humor in it. You mess with the bull, you get the wang. It's like, okay, cool. We're off to a great start. So, and just my usual dinking around playing 23 different games in a week. Whatever I need to do, get points on my my Microsoft points too. I have to check that out every week. Loaded up. What's it called? Crap. Grounded, just to get one achievement, so I get those Microsoft points. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of fun to load. I found that since I've already done it before, it was much quicker to get where I needed to be to do that. So I may go back and play Grounded again now that I understand the game more. So I'm having fun doing all kinds of stuff. The fun was, of course, for those that don't know, when I did move, my monitor got damaged. Thank you, UPS. But thanks to a friend of mine who had a 32-inch monitor just laying around, apparently, because he didn't want to use it, he sent that to me, so I had that 2 days later. And it's beautiful. Really nice, it's sitting right here in front of me. So.
Oh, superb. Well done.
That's really nice.
And at first the Xbox thought it did 4K. It doesn't do 4K. But it does do auto HDR. The monitor actually recognizes HDR. So. And at 120. So I got HDR 1080 by 120 hertz. So. I am a happy camper.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear then.
Yep.
Animated Evil, thanks for coming back on. Have you been playing?
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing? And have you been playing many games?
I'm doing good. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better now. I've turned myself up a little bit. Hopefully that's.
You're still a little quiet to me, but that could just be.
I'll back up. What? I'll back up and come back in again in a minute. But like Paul said, I've been playing. We started It Takes Two. Really enjoyed it. It's a good experience with Paul. It was good fun. As most of you know, I've been playing Yakuza 0, and I finished it. Now, that took me 105 hours. And when I finished it, it basically told me I did 41% of the game, which I wasn't impressed with after 105 hours.
I did 65 hours in the end, but that last chapter, that was long.
Clearly not a hardcore gamer, mate. That's clearly not a hardcore gamer.
Yeah. All I say is, with Yakuza games, you have to like watching cut scenes to get the story. You do. Definitely the last chapter.
So I have started Yakuza Kiwami, and I streamed the first, say, 3 hours of it the other night. Enjoying it so far.
And we also played a little bit of golf the other day too.
We did.
And
I was so jealous.
and as usual, the cripple won. I'm just saying, it's the one game I play that I can give most of you a challenge. So.
Yeah, you really did beat us. You absolutely destroyed me. So, yeah, well played, sir.
Thank you. Hey, if there's anybody who knows about balls, it's me. I mean, oh, sorry.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear, animated. And Mr. Tushi, thanks for coming on this week.
That's all right.
Have you been playing? Stupid question to ask you. You've been playing many games. You spend all weekend playing them.
I haven't done much this week, to be honest. I've been
Haven't
packing
you?
and stuff. I've been moving out.
Yeah, I forgot. No, yes, you did move. How did the move go?
It was hell.
Oh, I hate moving at the best of times, especially with the heat.
You know that I said that we redecorated and basically scrubbed the place. We even cleaned the freaking oven. That's how spotless we made the place.
Yeah.
It was good enough for somebody to move straight in. The landlord came in. He started tutting and looking at the walls and like.
Did you photograph everything as well?
Yeah. He weren't happy. He ended up taking 400 quid of our deposit back. The bastard.
That's what they bloody do. It's a quid of a gone.
Yeah.
Did you photograph this new? Did you photograph this new place when you moved in? Everywhere.
Yeah.
So you got before pictures. This is how I got it, mate. If you ever leave, because they do like doing that. They do.
But I'm happy in this place. It's massive compared to our old one. So huge.
It's nice. You're only about 5 bits from Stubbs now, aren't you?
Yeah, closer.
Only by a mile. Now, I think I've had one flight on Flight Simulator. I think I played a bit of Forza Horizon 4. That's about it. Just jump in and out.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Do a few shout outs, but there's a lot of people in chat actually. I'm not ignoring you. I've just been doing intros. Telegonic, welcome. Hellblazer, welcome. Assassin Looper, thanks for stopping in. I've not seen you for a while. Animated Evil, welcome. Chat. I still do that. Muppet, welcome. Hashtag the man cave, he's saying to Tushi. Let's go up. A delighted lad, welcome mate. Cheers for stopping in. And Judzilla, nice to see you. And even Pong Souls crept in the chat while at work. Thanks mate. Who else we got? It's Timmy, welcome.
Timmy!
Indie gamer, I hope you're doing okay.
Not it's Timmy, it's Timmy! Come on!
Yeah. Invader Gaming, cheers for stopping in. Who else we got? She's no elite. Hello, mate. Who else we got? Matt Barnes, hello. Cerebral Paul, as he's in the chat. Still do it.
He's everywhere.
Who is that guy? That's Cerebral Paul guy's an asshole. Just look at his wall. Everybody's calling him all kinds of names.
So I think I've got.
Oh man, he's on Twitter 24/7. That guy. God.
Yeah. Steel Rain just chopped in. Hey, beautiful people.
Welcome, Steel Rain, and welcome, Fat Boy Horror. Cheers for stopping in. There's quite a few people tonight.
Is animated backstage yet?
No, he's not. He's not come back. He just appeared. Mass Mayhem UK. Welcome, mate. Thanks for stopping in.
There he is.
There he is.
And hopefully,
hey, I just noticed. Is that a Band-Aid on your head? What is that? Or just a bald spot? What is it?
It's probably me going bald.
I got one of them.
So let's jump into the first topic now. It's a good one really.
There's topics.
You're gonna let the rest of us in on it. You're gonna let the rest.
You're all gonna laugh at me when I say this name, but if I say it wrong, Animated Evil's gonna say it.
Well, we discussed it earlier, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I think I quoted the wrong actor. But I've had a look. So
Sega wants to publish Lost Judgment, obviously by the makers of Yakuza, on PC and Steam to further extend the series' audience. But the protagonist actor,
Takuya Kimura.
there we go, thanks. Talent agency prevented them from doing so due to their very strict likeness policy, very limited pictures of the talent even on the internet. Sega thinks this doesn't look reasonable in terms of business and decides to end the series with the second entry. Now, that's obviously not going to happen. Sega will back down and just won't come to PC. Now, I'll give my take on this. It's because PC, you can port it, and he's a very famous Japanese actor. He's not somebody that he does movies. He's big time. He's not somebody that does video games in general, and it's to protect him. It's how a lot of the Japanese culture is. They protect their celebrities. So basically, you could make a mod, and you could portray him in a wrong light. You could make little mini games of him and have videos all over the internet of him. That's the fear. So they've blocked the PC. They've blocked PC. So that's my theory on it. Has anyone else got any theories on that? It's not a big topic, really.
I completely agree. That's probably what it is. I mean, he is having looking at who he is, and hopefully my volume is a lot better now.
It is.
Yep.
Cool. He's not just an actor. He's also a singer, a radio personality, and he's in one of the biggest boy bands in Japan, apparently, or was in one of them. So he is.
Oh, wow, he's even bigger than I thought.
Yeah, he
Wow.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is huge. So yeah, I can imagine that's why they want to protect him, and because once you start modding and things like that on PC, it starts to get a bit. It can get a bit silly, can't it? Some mods.
It can, yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, let's make him nude. Let's put him with a huge wang on him. But,
Yeah.
it's,
Let's
or a
meme
small
the
wang,
crap out of
depending
him
on what
on
it is.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do that.
It's very much a easy. It's a free for all the moment it gets modded. Let's face it.
Personally, if you want my take, I think it's an overreaction. I think you're gonna get memed. I mean, in fact, this move may get him memed. It's like everybody's gonna know it's not really you, dude. I almost would want to say get over yourself. If it was an American actor, I would say get over yourself.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he will be memed, but it's just the way Japanese. I can understand why they're doing it, and Sega will just back down. The whole this controversy, Lost Judgment's finished. It won't be. Sega just said, okay, we'll just keep it on consoles. They won't want to lose that series. They won't. They just carry on. They just say, okay, we won't release it on PC. That's what they say.
Yep.
Welcome, Mr. Kima. It would be nice on PC, but
he may well be just saying, "You've not paid me enough. Give me more money and I'll do it."
They could be doing that too.
I'm the star of this game. If you're going to sell it on more platforms, I want more money for it.
it could be
Yep.
as
Makes
well.
sense.
Right.
Stranger things have happened.
It's his brand. It's his license. Just because he's what I'd say helped license his brand, because I can guarantee you they paid him a fortune to appear in it. He could say, yeah, it's perfectly fine, but if his contract says console only,
Yeah.
why shouldn't he get paid?
But that's why most American actors, when they portray a part like that, they in their they as soon as Pierce Brosnan was James Bond or any of them, that likeness of James Bond, he wasn't in control of that. The Broccoli Corporation was, MGM was, and they can do with it what they please.
Yeah, so I think that's the difference between the American.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very much a different situation when it comes to the Japanese.
Right.
They're very much tighter on their laws. They're very much tighter on their contracts. I can guarantee you, the star, as he is, has probably got a good 30 or 40 odd lawyers. Liars.
Liars. It works either way.
Freudian slip. Who've gone through that with a tooth comb and have put in caveat after caveat after caveat.
Yep.
And any attempt to even deviate from that is a big no-no. So, as you rightly said, it could be a bit of both. It could be the fact that he for his name, his brand, to be moved on to other elements, he wants to be paid for it, and also he may want to just say, actually, no, I want to protect my brand. I'm perfectly happy with the console port. You know, if you've got the biggest star in Japan in your game, that is an amazing attraction to making sure that becomes a success.
Right.
You know, they probably weren't thinking about the Western audience when this was being done. It was much more of a Eastern audience they were situation for. So both could easily be part and parcel of this reason.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I just think it will stay on consoles and Sega will back down. I think this all Lost Judgment was a bit, it's over and all that. I think someone added a little bit in there, didn't they, to say it was over. You know what I mean?
Well, one thing this may do is this may cause Sega and other game companies to put the stipulation that if we decide to move this to another platform, we will do so.
Then he will say he will make.
No, I'm not talking about him. This one, but I'm saying this will cause them from here on out to put that addendum in their contracts. Because they want to go where the money is, and right now it looks like the money is, at least on the Western side, is going into PC a little bit. Look at what Sony's doing. Look at what Microsoft is doing.
True. It's true. They're both making a push for it. They are.
Was that statement "it's over" a translation, or was that from a?
Just trying to make out the
PR.
I don't know if that was actually. I think that was speculative. To be honest, it wasn't nothing.
No, what I'm saying was this a translation from the Japanese PR people, or was it because that's another thing. When they say it's over, it's a different context in Japanese than it is versus English. So when they say it's over, they could mean it's the discussion is over, not the game is over, or it could mean a much more different connotations if it is a translation, I should say, a bad translation from a Japanese PR, or was it an absolute Sega American PR response?
It was on. I can't read the name of it like normal. It was on a famous Japanese website, and it got translated off there. So,
right, in that case, then that could be a very different. That could be actually quite. That could be very different to what it means.
It wasn't an official statement from Sega. It was what people had heard was happening.
Right. So okay, that kind of puts a different light on it too. Then
again, that could be. Yeah, it could be easily be a different. It could be easily they've missed part of here. They've heard.
I mean, look at the
conversation's over.
Look at the stuff we get here. That is always a misrepresentation of what's actually going on. We're always having to dig for the facts.
It's true. And thank you to the Midweek Gaming legal team currently in the chat helping Mr. Toshi. Get his 400.
I brought my lawyers with me just in case things get out of hand tonight.
Yeah, they've been very helpful.
Mass Mayhem does know what he's on about, and that kind of.
I want to point out that we're talking about all this gaming stuff. Chat is tied into how big is Mr. Tushy's hole.
Hello. Both are very good topics that need to be resolved. Let's face it.
Sorry, a friendly pest. Have you got any comments on this? You wanted to jump in?
Is he there?
Did he fall asleep?
He might have fallen asleep.
It's possible.
He did say though
he's muted.
He was on call for work.
He's on call.
So he might get calls. So he did mention that. He did. I've got a lovely topic here. I know the panel here love FIFA. I mean, EA. We've got some EA fanboys in here. Massive FIFA fanboys in here.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not going to read the whole article out because everyone knows about it. But basically, FIFA and Madden. To get the FIFA 22 and Madden 22, if you want to receive the actual next-gen upgrades, you actually have to purchase the Ultimate Edition, which is $99.99, and in UK, I believe it's £90, just to get that, to get the next-gen upgrades. But you lot are going to be surprised by this, are you? Really?
EA, isn't it?
to be clear, there's no upgrade path from the standard version. You have to completely buy the other version.
Yep.
That's all.
Oh, so you are there, Friendly Pest. You are there.
I didn't have much to say on the last topic.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair enough. You got any thoughts on this one then?
Oh, no, probably not different than anybody else. That there's no upgrade path from one version to the next, which even people would complain about that because we're kind of spoiled by what we've been receiving, at least on the Xbox side lately. I definitely wouldn't buy a $100 version of a game just to get the next-gen features.
Oh, I tell you what, and if it
Well,
does,
you're
it
muted.
it has to be jaw-dropping. It does. For that price, eh?
And it would depend on the game, but for me especially, sports games, not something I gravitate towards.
Well, Muppet seems to think it's a bargain.
That's why his name's Muppet.
Quite clearly.
Well, the Muppet is a Muppet, apparently. Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Wow.
And the thing about EA is if you don't push back on something like this, they're going to go further. If they find...
Oh, yeah, and I tell you what, if people buy this up, the industry will follow. They will.
Yeah.
The Call of Duty
it'll be like
and all the
DLC,
big
won't
boys.
it? It'll be seen like DLC. Oh, you want a next gen update? It's another 20 quid. You want a new skin with a 4K upgrade to it? That's another 20 quid.
Sorry,
you want a pet that's
people,
4K? That's...
Correction, Muppet was talking about an indie game, not FIFA. My mistake.
One thing I read about this the other day. You're getting ripped off anyway. But did you know that the PC version isn't getting the new animations and stuff that they've put on the Series X version and PS5?
Well, that's interesting because PC always gets everything for no extra cost.
PC is basically getting like the Xbox One version, basically. But they're not getting the new animations that they've made of the new engine or whatever it's called.
Okay, this is that. Now we're talking. It's absolute bullshit. I'm sorry. That's absolute bullshit.
No, I read that. That the
no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying the move is because I mean, why upgrade the Xbox version and not the PC version when basically they're pretty much interchangeable at this point.
I think it was something to do with that PC get the game cheaper. I think that was the reason or something like that.
Oh, it's my God.
To be honest, that's. I mean, I've seen EA do some big, crappy things, but doing that to the PC games, wow, that's a brave move. Is it? I don't know. Is FIFA big on PC? Do a lot of people play it?
I guess so.
I don't know. Is it big?
I can't.
It's a bit of esports. It's a bit of esports area. To be honest with you, there is a few esports channels that do that sort of thing.
But they're probably going to do. They're probably going to do the same thing with Madden. Then, if they're doing with FIFA, they're probably going to do it with Madden as well.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
But I think it's wrong. I think now that the Series X has been out, coming up a year, and you would have thought that they'll just make the Series X version just like the basic, or like just make one for PC, one for Xbox, exactly the same. And a downgraded version for the Xbox One and PS4.
They need that money boat. They need the money train.
It's okay. This will give me something new to rail against soon. So I'm okay with this. So yeah.
I do have a question on it. I'm only just looking into it now. Really, if I buy the standard edition, can I play that on my Series S, or do I have to have the new edition?
Yeah.
No, you can play the Xbox One version. It pays it for your back compat, basically. Okay. So yeah, you can play it. You can play any of the versions, but you'll basically be limited to the frame rate. So you'll probably be locked behind a paywall, won't they?
Yeah, because obviously I have a child that is football crazy. If I don't buy him FIFA 22, I'm the worst dad in the world.
Yeah, you'd be fine with the standard version. I don't think you'd be that bothered about the next gen upgrade. I don't know how much of a jump it is.
He does like to play on the Series S at the moment when I'm not in, and his 1S when I am in. So he does play both right now. But what is really weird, when I first got the Series S, the last time FIFA 21. If you pre-ordered, you got the free XS version, but the save doesn't carry over.
Really?
So when I got the Series S, I loaded FIFA up. I thought, I wonder what the difference is going to be. I had to start my career all again, the full lot. you can still do Ultimate Team, but career it's a whole new game. Single player.
Is it not
It's
cloud
all-
save then?
Right, that's bad.
Yes,
That is.
yeah, it is cloud save, but over the 2 versions.
They're not allowing the cross version save, which is
No.
they've done that with other stuff as well.
That must be EA generally, because I can guarantee that's not Xbox.
Yeah,
Pushing that.
Looper's found the perfect solution, which I totally
Depends
agree
if
with.
you
Just
saw-
wait for it to go in Game Pass.
It depends if I bet he can't wait that
But
long.
Game Pass will only be the Xbox One X version, not
I
the
bet he
series.
can't. I bet he can't wait that long.
no.
Though, can he?
I-
Mate, always
I-
mates to have it.
Yeah, but I pretty much have to pre-order for when it's released. But that's the one game I have to buy. That's the only one.
How old is this child?
Not old enough to get a job yet, but still. I know what you were thinking. Yeah, he's 13.
You can get paper rounds at 13, can't you?
There you go.
I mean, I'm short-staffed at the moment. I think I could get him a few little tasks around work.
Hey, just make him watch Oliver Twist. Make him tell him he needs to do what the Artful Dodger does and get his own shit. No, get
Oh
Good
god.
thinking.
there you go.
Thanks for
He's gotta
stopping
pick-
in.
He's got to pick a pocket or two.
That's it. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Thanks for stopping in back from the dead, and welcome Dan Webb, who said, if any game could benefit from a games as a service, it would have to be FIFA. Bloody rip-off every year, just an update of the players' rosters. That's true. They could just literally bump a patch in. Here you
Just
go.
keep your eyes
60 quid.
peeled for for the 2021 badges and stuff. Make sure they ain't missed anything.
Well, here is actually a good
Yes,
technique.
that happened once,
Animated.
didn't
Could
it?
you not just animate? Could you not just print off the 2021 cover and shove it over the top of your?
Put colourblind
Would-
mode
would-
on so
would he
the rest
notice?
is difficult.
It's all digital, dude. I can't do that.
I just drive.
This is why you need physical. See,
Yeah, you need
to
to-
solve that in one go.
This year, for the first year ever, get him physical, and then you're set for like the next 5 years. Just take a Sharpie and change
He'll
the number
never
every
know.
time.
Yeah, he'll never know.
Yeah.
Mass Mayhem's also said EA has also made Battlefield 2042 last gen and next gen will not be able to play online together.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus.
Also,
that's
another
due
thing
to
that
the-
came out today
Server size, isn't it?
that Battlefield 2042 will have cross progression and crossplay. It will now.
They just won't be able to play with each other. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the game size. In fairness, because it doubles the game size as you go up a generation. So on
Yeah,
the
that's the
Series
problem.
SX, you can it's 64 against 64, I believe. Whereas the last gen, the PS4, Xbox Ones are only
30, innit?
32.
64
total.
players.
Yeah.
64, yeah.
64 total. So
Yeah.
But I think Battlefield 4 did the same thing, jumping up from Generation 7 to 8. So it's not without precedence, and the maps are restricted inside, and player counts are different. It's understandable.
am I right in thinking some of the Battlefield 4 destructible environments change as well, like your towers falling down? They weren't on the
Yes, they did.
360,
They did,
were
yes.
they?
No, they weren't. They factually, I think if I remember correctly, I think some elements were, but the big, huge, major destructions like the towers, it wasn't. You're right. I think it wasn't. I could be wrong, but
So-
I
thought
yeah.
I thought the Levolution stuff was in there too, but I could be wrong.
So Mass Mayhem's just sent me the actual details about crossplay. Xbox Series X and S, PS5 and PC players can all play together. PC and console players can opt out. They don't have to play together. But Xbox One and Xbox One and PS4 players can play together. Last generation and current gen consoles cannot play together, like you said, Animated Evil.
Yeah.
It's understandable regarding like the capabilities, like if you know what I mean, the hardware and stuff.
Yeah, that's any. Yeah, I can understand why it can't be done.
But I'm impressed with the crossplay though, right from the start. So you play against player.
I think it's part of the. I believe they're testing it. They're working on it. I think they got some. Have they got some betas coming up, or they've been testing it internally?
Yes, Dean said that he's been invited to the beta.
Yeah,
I'm going to try the game because it's in Game Pass and you get 10-hour trial. So may as well give it a go. I might not buy it, but
it'll be in there after
trial.
6 months anyway.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, there could be enough coding differences between the two, between next gen or between current gen and last gen, that it may be difficult to have them play together, because there may be enough coding difference that they don't play nice together. Yeah.
And that's not also not picking up the data package alone.
Right.
You know, the data package, you're guaranteed that the original PS4 and the original 360 the game could be, I don't know, 50 gigabytes. Where, you know, the Series X could be 65, but that in reality could be almost like double that, you know, in terms of packaging and, you know, reduction.
So a question on the crossplay, is that console to PC as well? And when that is enabled, do you guys tend to opt out of that or leave it on? Because personally, I'd rather play with people that are using gamepads, depending on the game, of course.
I use the keyboard, mouse.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I prefer console only, but if I've got that choice. But like you said, depends on the game. Something like a driving game, I'm not that fussed about. But when it comes to, say, a first-person shooter, I don't want to come up against mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I'm with
Not
you.
at all.
Though it does give me a handy excuse.
If it was me on, if it was me on mouse and keyboard, you wouldn't have to worry.
No. So when I've been playing single-player games for a couple of months now, but when I was playing Gears 5, there's no option anymore. They've taken the cross-play. You have to play with PC gamers. Cross-plays, but you can't take. They've taken the option. They say Xbox is full of options, but in Gears of War 5, the option of saying no, I don't want to play with PC players has been taken away. It's automatic cross-play, but cross-play never bothered me. It's just one of them. I think what they were doing, they were trying to just expand the player base, but for Gears 5, in most games they give you an option, and they actually put in their statement when they did it. 40% of you are turning cross-play off, so we've decided to leave it on and you can't turn it off, basically. But yeah, it's always better to have options. I've become a single-player gamer recently, I have, to be honest. Welcome, Infinite, thanks for stopping in. Welcome, Sins Gaming. UK Dazarus, welcome. Or is it UK Batterus, like you put on Twitter the other day? But yeah, any more thoughts on this topic? Expanded to Battlefield and Madden anymore? Or is Paul ready for the big topic?
Are you ready for the big topic?
Dun, 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 dun.
You're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready.
You want to introduce it? Because I don't want to.
Are we sitting comfortably?
Psychonauts 2 will be free to all. No, I'm joking. Well, if you've got Game Pass, it will be. Right, Psychonauts 2 will feature an invincibility toggle to enable all ages, all possible needs to enjoy the game. I will let Paul lead with this.
Okay, let me just say, the response to this on the Double Fine forum on their Twitter page was so bad. It's amazing how many people think that somehow this is going to break the game for them. Oh, that's unfair. They can't do that. It's a cheat code, and they're also upset we're still going to get achievements even if we activate the invincibility toggle. Okay, I thought about this last night and I posted it today. People said because you didn't really fight the game, you really didn't earn the achievement. Let me just throw this out there. If you're stuck in a game, be it a puzzle or finding something or hunting some trophy down in the game, and you go to YouTube or you go and you look it up in a walkthrough, is it not basically the same thing? You went and you looked for the answer. You found the answer. You did not solve the puzzle yourself, but you still get the resulting achievements. Same thing. And nobody says you have to use invincibility. It just allows me to play a game that I would not otherwise be able to enjoy the story and the puzzle aspects of the game. Maybe. Just to be clear, I may or may not use the toggle, but it's there if I need it. But I have been told that it doesn't matter if I can play the game or not. If I can't, oh well, too bad. I've been told that I basically have been told off that I shouldn't even bother gaming. I could just go watch YouTube videos all day if it's the same thing.
It's disgusting, Paul. It really is. I mean, you were even told that basically someone was trying to make out you were lying about your disability.
Oh yeah. Somebody thought I was making it up, and they too could just go look up stuff on WebMD and just diagnose themselves. I'm like, really? When I pointed out the number of gamers that Phil has said are identified as disabled, and they all jumped on, what do you mean by identified as disabled? It means they send out surveys and they ask the gamers. Many of you have probably got the same survey, but you didn't identify as a disabled person, or you know, whatever. But I got the amount of hate and vitriol over this thing, because God forbid it should make it so people can actually enjoy a story. Did you know? It pointed out to me, and I forgot. Crisis, even though it didn't do the invincibility mode, it introduced accessibility like one shot, one kill, which means basically I was able to get through Crisis much quicker. It was almost like being invincible, because as soon as I hit the target, it blew up. No matter how big the target was, even the boss fights. But nobody made a big deal about that. People are acting like this is going to break their game. I actually had people complain that, well, it's unfair if you get the achievements because you'll appear higher than me on the achievement aggregate websites. Really? Are achievements that important to you that you're going to get pissy because, oh my god, I got 1,000 gamer score, and in your mind, I didn't earn that 1,000 gamer score? Get over yourself. Now, I realize that percentage says that there's somebody either listening or watching right now, or somebody who will be listening later that's going to agree with all this. They should never have these modes, and I'm okay with that. You know, and you know, believe what you want to believe, but look at it from my side, or any disabled person's side. I'm even considered mildly disabled. There are people much worse off than me that can't play games. When I was growing up, there were a lot of games I couldn't play, a lot of things I couldn't do. What is so wrong with opening it up so anybody can play it, regardless of whether they have to fight hard or not? Seriously. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't damage you. It's not like they're forcing you, okay, we're going to automatically turn invincibility on for everybody and just watch the game. By the way, that's the other thing now. It's like watching a YouTube video at that point. Apparently, they've never played Psychonauts or any game, really. I've been told I don't understand the purpose of video games. I've been told, you know, it's asinine. If you really want to see some of the responses I've gotten, go look at my wall. People say, well, why why did I get involved in that? Why do I speak up? Why don't I just, you know, because Twitter idiots are going to be Twitter idiots. And like I said to somebody, it takes one drop of rain and all of a sudden you got a flood. Okay, I'm going to be that one drop of rain if I have to be, to say, okay, you guys are being, and I've been very polite, let you know, and you can ask, many of you in the chat know how I can get. I have been so damn polite in my responses. I haven't told these people one thing of what I really think of them. And it's taken a lot of control at times. So I'm curious in the chat, is anybody willing to admit that they have a problem with the invincibility mode, or with us still getting achievements through the invincibility mode? I'm not going to yell at you. I just want to know if there's anybody who's willing to admit that they might see an issue with that.
Paul, I've got one thing to say. My problem is that it's not in every game. Gaming is for everybody. Everyone's different.
By the way, just to make that clear too, it is not suitable for every game.
Oh,
it is not suitable for multiplayer games, because that really wouldn't be fair. You know, single player modes I have no problem with. That's fine. But games like Cuphead, which are basically just every level is shoot, shoot, bang, bang. There's really no story to follow through. It doesn't fit. So this is not a one size fits all solution. You know, any story driven game should have an option or an option like this. Or the other one I like to talk about, and some people have heard me mention it before, L.A. Noire introduced you failed that action sequence 3 times or 5 times or whatever it was. Would you like to skip this part and get on with the story? That was awesome. More games should do that. Let us try the action sequence. If we can't do the action sequence, give us the option to skip it. Whether we choose that option or not is totally up to us. You know, more games need to do exactly that.
I'll tell you what I've seen, Paul, because Mass Mayhem's on about it in chat. He seconded me that because one person with a specific disability managed to do Sekiro, that in that Twitter argument, it was being used as a valid point of an argument. It was.
Oh yeah, I've been told, well, because this disabled guy could do it, why can't you? Because this disabled guy could do it. I'm like, and I've said we're not all the same.
Are all disabilities the same?
Well, according to them, they are.
Well,
I've even had some disabled people. You've seen the responses that I'm disabled and I beat it. I don't know why you can't. Okay, those actually anger me more than the idiots. I mean, seriously, those kind of responses to say, well, if I can do it, why can't you? You know, and I'm disabled too. Are we exactly the same disabled? I mean, I had one guy said I didn't speak for all disabled because he had autism and ADHD. Okay, I understand his frustration, but it's not the same as having a physical limitation that limits your dexterity, your hand-eye coordination, and your reaction times. I mean, to the point of where my left hand is pretty much useless. And that's why I've reached out to some of the bigger podcasters and said, look, we need to, you know, if they're willing to get this out there, I don't need to be a part of the conversation at that point, but the conversation needs to be had.
But I think you could. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I apologize.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Say what you said. I didn't hear what you said.
No, I was going to zoom out further, but you weren't finished making your point.
No, go ahead. Say.
Well, in the case of my wife, she's pretty new to gaming, and she doesn't have a disability, but there's a skill level there. In a lot of games, the on-ramp, the learning curve is so steep that despite numerous efforts and help by me, she'd have to tap out and try a different game. And you don't know what I would give to have this option available on more games so she could enjoy these and experience these. And as she plays through them, her skill level will improve. And if she chooses to be challenged more so, then there are other options to do that. But finally finding a game, I think Stardew Valley was the breakthrough, that she was able to enjoy that and get into gaming and finally understand why I like this hobby so much. And then she's moved on to other games. So seeing options like this for accessibility, it's not just disability, it's all skill levels. And I did not expect the community to rail against this, amongst all things.
It's disgusting.
I almost feel like it's the same as the railing, and please don't anybody in chat take this the wrong way. The same as railing against, oh my God, there's girl gamers and they don't belong here. Because I'm getting a lot of that same energy that we as handicapped people don't belong in gaming. If we can't do it, sucks to be you. You know, there's no room for you here. Doing all this accessibility stuff breaks the intent of the game. And to the point to where they consider this not an accessibility, but strictly a cheat. You know, and they just don't get it. You know. They don't seem to care. They want their game the way they want it. God forbid we should alter the way that they view what gaming is, which I think is hilarious. People they're telling me, well, you really don't understand what it means to be a gamer. Yeah, I've been doing this longer than most of y'all been alive. Okay, so shut the hell up. You know?
Because I kept looking, I thought, I was shocked to the level people go into. I just can't put words into it. It's, yeah.
I guess I think majority of the panel here, pretty much 99.999, and the chat would agree with everything that Paul said. So, to try and bring some unbiased opinion, I'm going to try and look at it from their point of view. Oh, this is bloody hard because I don't agree with them. So, I suspect generally it's an education thing. It's an education thing. If you strap them up to the point where they would have physical problems in terms of movement and said, right, now play that game, maybe they would understand it a little better. Maybe there would be a little bit of it. And I think generally the reason why these people do say these things is because of education. And you know, Paul, as much as you can confirm this. I'm often keep saying to you, we need to hear more from disabled gamers. We need more people explaining their disabilities and trying to. Because as a non-disabled gamer, I will never fully understand a disabled person's abilities or issues. And so we need someone from the disabled, or we need multiple, not even one person. I think we need multiple people from the disability communities to keep educating us, because we don't know. You know, I've got a disabled stepsister. I still don't know the frustrations and the physicalities of these aspects, because I'm not disabled. So you need voices on a regular basis to be educating those who aren't disabled. And I think it's an education thing. As I said, if you've got half these people who are saying these nasty things, you strap them up so they were physically restricted and said, right, now play. I think they might change their mind. I think they would. Okay.
What a lot of them don't realize is in 5, 10, 20 years from now, they may be in my position or one like it, where their body doesn't work the way it should.
Yeah, you can get
and all of a sudden they're going to think they're going to want these things, and they're going to go, well, we need these things, and hopefully they'll remember in the back of their head, well, shit, I remember when I told this one handicapped guy that, he had no place in gaming if he couldn't play it the way it was made.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think it's an education thing, and so I'm going to be, obviously, you've been a very charitable person. I'm going to try and be more charitable, even though I disagree with quite a bit. I'm going to be more charitable and say it's an education thing that needs, and it's not really on the onus of the disabled people. Ironically, though, it kind of is, because if you don't speak up, no matter how any other person, any non-disabled person speaks for you, they're never really going to give it the same passion, never really going to give it the full understanding that a disabled person is. You need deaf people explaining the issues they face. You need short-sighted or non-sighted people explaining the issues they have. You need people with disabilities that you cannot see and you can see explaining those elements.
Right.
And until we get this education, you are going to get this almost black and white opinion, when in reality it isn't black and white. Disabilities is a full spectrum, and the same thing with terms of problems. And so until we get that as a community, we're going to have to consistently get this problem. Now it's getting better, I think, and really I'm only speaking from my opinion. Paul, you could disagree with me. I think the last couple of days you probably have felt it has kind of stepped back, but I would say, even from the panel and from the chat here, I hope that you don't really believe that, and hope that there is a lot more majority of us.
It's getting better from the industry's point of view, especially from Microsoft and the studios they work with.
Yep.
It's not necessarily getting better from the public's point of view, but that'll come with time. That's going to take time. When I sit there and I say what I say, and they say, well, this guy who only uses breath control to control he beat the game. I'm like, yeah, and
exactly.
or this guy who beat the game with his feet. Okay, so, or this guy only has one hand. Well, so does Graphic God, but he's not going to hold it against me.
Exactly. Every disability is different. Every struggle is different.
So I'm not going to. Obviously, because this comment here, like Lupus put, it's amazing how quickly things can change in life. This is when you will understand, but not until then. Now, I'm not going to say I'm disabled, because I'm not. But do you remember when I broke my knee and I couldn't walk for 4 months?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? I felt what probably... I know mine was a temporary thing, but in my head, I actually thought I'm not going to walk again, because I couldn't do it. So I did actually have, if not, it was a temporary thing, but I wouldn't it's very hard to not walk, and obviously I couldn't physically. My legs were broke, my knee were broke. It was mended, but I kind of had a peak. I know it's temporary, but I understand it a bit more from that angle. Not being able to walk. You see, although I wasn't disabled, I couldn't. I was told not to walk for 4 or 5 months, and I couldn't.
Look at you.
I was terrified of taking a couple of steps because I didn't want to. I got that used to not walking that I was terrified to even try it, and it worked. Obviously, I'm just about back to normal now. But I did have a peek into what it's kind of like for somebody who can't ever walk again. It's not. It just shows you what's around the corner, because that could have been for life. You know what I mean? Luckily, they were able to fix my leg. They were, luckily, but I did see what it's kind of like.
Yeah, you experienced some of the limitations of just getting around, just trying to get through a building. Yeah,
because I remember even when I started to walk a little bit, what I used to do was I used to go upstairs, and this may seem like go to bed, because for the first month or so I slept downstairs because I couldn't get anywhere. And then in the end, what we did was, my missus actually, this is what we did. We weren't meant to do it. She got me in the wheelchair and got me to the stairs. And I bum shuffled upstairs and crossed the floor. Then with upper body power, she'd lift my leg up and I'd get into bed. But I felt so useless because I couldn't even stand up. I was dragging my body across the floor to do it. And yeah, I've had a peek into what it would be like, and it's not nice. People don't understand when you. And I've been out and about in a wheelchair. I have, and I have had a peek into it. Okay, this isn't the side of gaming, but I have. I know it's temporary, but I have had a little peek into it. If you know what I mean, from that perspective. So, I look at it. I have more respect for it now when I see someone that's just. I've never had a problem with anyone who's disabled. They can't help it, but I have a greater respect now because of what happened.
Right. Yep, and it's sad to say that I'm not saying you were bad before, but a lot of people, that's what it takes to get their attention, is for something to happen.
It does, yeah. You know, it does.
Yeah, empathy and compassion can be learned. You witness someone you love struggle with something, and you just want it to be made possible or easier, like accessible is the word for them. People learn that with time and age. You could have a young audience that's arguing against it because for them, these achievements are like a black belt. They think they've earned and they've placed their self-worth in it.
A lot of these responses aren't coming from young people. Trust me. Somebody in the chat said, and I missed it. I forget who said it, but just block them, ignore them, and move on. Staying quiet is not really. That's part of the problem. There's too many people have stayed quiet for too long. They just think that everybody agrees with them because nobody says anything to counter what they're saying. So, it's not my job. But then again, is it? Should I take on that responsibility? I think so. Somebody needs to, because I've noticed once I started speaking up, if you look at the responses, other people who weren't speaking up started speaking up. Mm-hmm. And so it just, somebody needs to, our voices need to be heard.
I agree.
And as I said, this is an education thing. This is where you need more. It needs to be more visual across the board. And I think that has always been, in a way, it's a hidden community. I think I've mentioned this to you before, haven't I? I've said to Paul, the disabled community is almost a hidden community. And that's why I've always loved the fact that you're on here, because it's it's a voice that you don't normally hear. Yeah. And it needs to be, regardless of it does need to be heard. It does need to be educated. And I think, as I said, some people, as you said, it's a passion thing. It can be taken way too seriously, but I think generally it's an education thing. I'm going to be even more charitable than you, Paul, in this guide. And I'm going to try and say majority of them is an education thing, regardless of age, because you can be stubborn in your old age as well. I think it's an education thing. And until, as you rightly said, more voices are pushed at the forefront, how else are you going to get how else are people going to learn?
So there's a
When it
comment
happens
here
to
from
them, well,
Looper.
it's too late then.
Yeah. There's a comment here from Looper. Now, I can agree with this. Going into a wheelchair makes you feel invisible, you know. When I went in the wheelchair, the odd time we went around the corner, even to the corner shop, people actually thought I was disabled because I was in a wheelchair. And like, some people quite nice, asked if I wanted help. My missus was pushing me, obviously. I was that master dude. I tried to push the wheels, and I'll tell you what, that takes some bloody strength, especially pushing my weight. It really does. I respect the people who can do that. But yeah, it does make you invisible. People, them kind of looks. People were looking at me like I was disabled. I was like, I'm not. You know,
You were for a period.
I was.
For a short period, you was.
I was. Yeah. Yeah, it does make you invisible.
It does lead me to a question, though. And this is what I think that I kind of mentioned to Paul earlier on, that I'd bring it up. So, Paul, forgive me. But it's really, I would like your thoughts on this. How
you're an arsehole. No, you're not.
Yes, that's well. Yes, actually, yes. Thank you very much. I'll say it as a compliment. I remember seeing one of your chats regarding, and this is going to be, it's in terms of reviewing games. And for me as a reviewer, it was intriguing and interesting to see how this plays into that. Because, to be honest with you, you don't see many people, and this is again part of the education thing, I don't think you see many disabled gamers reviewing games and giving, and I think that would help in some instances. Again, maybe it's just that we're not seeing, again, it's a hidden thing, but it doesn't seem to be a lot of disabled gamers reviewing games from their perspective, which can also help educate. So you can say, well, I've had struggles with the control system for this reason. I had struggles with the visual system for this reason. And it's that feedback that I think also will help the development team as well, because sometimes the development team doesn't understand these issues until it's out there. And it's a question to you, Paul. I believe that there should be for games a almost like I don't want to segregate people, but almost like a disabled reviewers section.
There's a site and a Twitter account called Can I Play that does some of that. I wish I was a better, more creative writer, and I would do more of that. But yeah, there's not a lot of spaces out there where somebody sticks out as a disabled gamer who's also a reviewer. And even by Can I Play That, they started out more focused on the deaf, hard of hearing, and the sight impaired more than the physical impaired, because as I've said before, the physical impaired thing is a relatively new facet that the developers are attacking. I mean, it really is. Mm-hmm. Only within the last 5, not even 10 years. And I'm part of that facet.
Without those reviewers, how do they learn? And you need those reviewers. You need people to. As I said, it's an education thing. You need those reviewers to explain the issues they have, so that it can be implemented. To a much more. And again, it could be just simple as a toggle feature, but without the knowledge, without the education, it is a thing that they probably wouldn't realise, unless of course they have those particular disabilities.
Well, I can tell you that through my experience through Microsoft, at least a couple of developers have reached out to me and gone through some stuff with me. 343. It's just to get my input on some things and have me look at some stuff. So they are trying. They are working on it, and they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Some of them even have disabled people on their staff specifically for that job. But a lot of the smaller developers don't.
No. But if that tool's there for the smaller developers, that tool's there for them to utilize, that's still something that is helpful for the developers in general. So would you say then there's work to be, I think you'd probably say there's work to be done, but would you believe then it needs to be a more, I would say, promotion or widespread push in that regards?
I think the fact that Double Fine with Xbox responding directly saying, hey, we're doing this. And you'll notice that Double Fine hasn't responded to much of the criticism. They're basically, I think it's, we're doing this, suck it up, sucks to be you. If you don't like it, they're just taking all the criticism and letting it go in one ear out the other. Which, good on them, because they don't need to be in the fight. But I can guarantee you they probably are getting a lot of pressure to not do this. And I'm waiting for, I haven't looked to see if they're getting carpet bombed on the rating sites yet, but I'm waiting for that day to come next month. It probably will. And to that, I would say we need to, as best we can, give it a proper read. Don't review it without playing it, but if you do play it and you enjoy it, give it a better review. I would also say, and I was going to say this elsewhere, I don't know how to, given what they're doing, personally, even though I can't really afford a $60 game, I may find a way to give even though it's on Game Pass, I may find a way to give Double Fine my money, because they are taking a chance. They're taking a big chance, to do this.
Which it should be.
If this works, maybe more of the companies will follow suit. What I don't know, and maybe somebody here can tell me, is Double Fine already under Microsoft's umbrella? Is it one of the studios that they own?
Yes.
Okay, so that's part of it. So that's actually a good sign. If Double Fine's doing it, they're already under the Microsoft umbrella. That goes back to Microsoft is taking the lead in this whole accessibility thing. So I have no problem supporting that. And I think it's a great sign, and it's more of the games hopefully will do that. Do I want to see Halo multiplayer have God mode? It'd be fun for a while, but no.
If I could jump in on that, Halo does have an accessibility in multiplayer, and that's its ranked mode.
Right.
As that gets improved, you're matched against people of similar skills or ability, and that solves that, I think. If you go into social, you're going to be up against all of them.
Hopefully the ranking mode works correctly, because there's so many games where it does not.
No, absolutely. And that's something they could improve too. But I think that's your solution there on multiplayer.
And then what a lot of people do, of course, is they make Smurf accounts so they can go in as a low rank and and actually be a high level player. And there's nothing we can do about that.
To another question, and again, I'm going to go now. Oh, God, I hate this because I'm going to have to ask. I'm going to be asking the question from the arsehole point of view. Sorry for my language. What in that case? Some of the common comments I've seen was that in terms of reviewing a game, what stops the reviewer from going from the easiest mode and therefore not really critiquing it from a unbiased perspective?
Yeah, from the way, that came up today. As a matter of fact, if a reviewer reviews it on easy, it's not really reviewing the game as it's intended to be played.
Well, the person in question was actually, I think, and I spotted this one, and the question thing, I think he poorly worded it, but he was actually responding to an original tweet where a mainstream reviewer admitted to never playing the game on a default setting and always playing a game on a easy setting and reviewing it based on that without any prior admission.
Without any prior admission, I have an issue with, but at the same time,
that was where he was coming from, but he really badly worded it, and I know that I spotted that because I was like, I'm going to jump in. I thought, no, I'm going to ask the question, because hence the reason I was saying, because he was saying it's irrelevant, but I don't think he meant it was irrelevant for those for say disabled people reviewing the actual game. It was when you start being a little bit, when you're a mainstream reviewer and you're supposed to be unbiased, and then you're using alternative methods, as you say, to
but see, personally, I don't consider easy mode an alternative method, because it will still introduce you to the mechanics of the game. It'll introduce you to the fight mechanics, the puzzle mechanics, or whatever.
I think he was going down the path of a professional standard. So, for instance, what stops a person from going, say, playing the very hardest difficulty and saying, this game is awful, generally, this is way too hard, without stating anything.
And some reviewers have done exactly that. Yeah, some reviewers have done exactly that. They play it on the hardest level and say it sucks. It's like,
And
Okay,
I think he was coming from that point where the person fully admitted that they only ever played on the easier difficulty, and that's how they reviewed the games. But they
a
never
lot of times,
admitted it.
but see, I can also understand why a reviewer would do that because that gets them through the game faster.
But then again, I would say you should admit it. I think you should state it. If you're not stating that,
I would say so.
it's
but
a little bit of unprofessionality.
I would say it once in the article and that's it. Just the addendum at the top. I play whatever. I played this on easy so I could get this review out to get me a basic rundown of the game. Whatever, that's fine. But then again, because I saw one guy say, a lot of it is, one person even said that the mode they're putting in, the invincibility mode, is for reviewers so they don't actually have to play. It's like,
well, to be clear, this would be like if you reviewed a stereo and then complained that it wasn't loud enough without ever turning up the volume.
Right.
Maybe part of a professional review would include the accessibility options, like The Last of Us 2 was widely hailed and appreciated for its range of accessibility options.
Right.
So I don't know that that's a. I think that in that case, the reviewer has failed his audience by not covering these points and explaining it more than anything.
Yeah, like I said,
he was railing against a professional gaming journalist who stated that without saying.
I think as long as they disclose it, and even sometimes if they don't disclose it, I mean, to me, it would depend on the game. There are some games that the difference between easy and normal is minimal. Well,
and the suggestion that the way the developer intended it to be played, well, in this case, Double Fine intended you to play it however you needed to or wanted to.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the other thing. People keep calling it a cheat. I said, well, it's actually not, because it's an option in the game for anybody to use. Equal footing. If you use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't. It's not a cheat. It's not altering the INI file, which is funny. That's what somebody said. I want to be able to alter the INI file and pull this out of there. I'm like, what, just so you don't see it? If you don't have the willpower to not use the damn mode, that's on you.
Again, I apologise. That was a conversation I saw on Twitter, and I thought I'm having to be the opposition here, and I don't want to be.
Yeah. And like I said, guys,
I'm just trying to have a balanced podcast.
Yeah. Like I said, I could try to. I could stream myself trying to play Psychonauts. I can guarantee you, God mode or no, I'm going to have trouble with the controls on Psychonauts too.
God, I'm just like 2,000 people in chat. Oh, look, it's Cerebral Paul, the guy up Twitter.
I mean,
for those in chat, I'm not an arsehole. I'm just gently trying to provide the podcast and unbiased.
You're just playing devil's advocate.
I am
just playing devil's advocate.
I don't know why, but it's one of the things. One of the reasons because I'm so passionate about, a bit like Paul, I'm so passionate about seeing representation, especially from the disabled community, and so I have to. It irks me if we're not unbiased. It irks me in that regard. So I don't mind being the devil's advocate, even though I hate it. But, Paul knows me well enough. He knows that my views. So I'm hoping that when I have to be the devil's advocate, he doesn't take it too personally. As you said, I'm an arsehole, so maybe he does.
Stubbs, I want to talk to you about one of the panel members. Okay, later after the show. Yeah, we have a problem.
I just want to say welcome.
Well, that's me going for the rest of the series.
Welcome, Fun Speculation. Cheers for stopping in.
So, I mean, that seems to have covered it all. I mean, play it the way you want to play it. I would ask that if you have anybody on your wall and that you're friends with, if you dare to do it, you see them saying how this is a bad move on Double Fine's part, how it's for the weak, the one I got, I love this. Oh, this is for the lames. I said that's me. I'm lame, so this is for me. At which point they said, "You're not lame. You're disabled." And somebody said, "You do understand what lame means, right?" But if you see this on your wall and it's one of the people that you feel you can talk to, correct them.
Educate them.
It's up to you. Educate them. You don't have to, but it would help.
I would say educate them. Yeah, because I think if you push a point of view hard, people will block off. But if you slightly been, and this is why I respected your responses so well, was that you weren't being a git, you weren't, and you had every right to be quite particular in your wording back to them, but you was effectively become it was an education. You were educating them, I would say. You know,
I was being very controlled.
Yes, I bet you was. When I saw your tweets, I was like, I can bet I know what's going through his head.
I didn't call anybody a twat. I thought about it.
No, he was very respectful, and you didn't have to be honest with you, but it was. And I think sometimes the softly approach changes minds, especially on Twitter. It changes minds better than calling people twats.
Yeah. Through actual discussion, I think some people have kind of come around to understand. Not a lot, but a few.
It only takes one or two people to start the ball rolling, and this is the irony. It does take only one or two people, and then they'll, and maybe it's not you they'll listen to, maybe it's the person you've convinced who will then speak to them further down the line. And they'll go, okay, I'm listening to him because I know him. Sometimes just your message out there reaches a lot more people's ears than you realise, and sometimes it's the person they're most familiar with saying it to them helps them understand.
I will say that in the last 24 hours, I've picked up over 30 followers on Twitter. So, good or bad, I don't know what's going to happen there, but we'll see. So
fair enough.
So that's all I got to say. Listen, do we have any other subjects to talk about?
I think we flew through them, I think.
Yeah,
Stop going to bed.
No, I'm here.
Still awake, yeah.
That topic was so good. I don't know if anything can really beat it. To be honest, it was a good conversation. That was.
I've got some good news
for me and Cerebral taking over.
Forza Horizon 5 saying 118 days.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to have a listen to the audio. Everyone reckons the audio sounds really good for Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, each performance part you install changes the tone of the sound of the engine.
Yep.
Oh,
and makes it a bit more beefier and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more hyped for that Forza than any racing game ever.
And one thing I found out today is there is no longer clothes in the wheel spins. Means we'll get money or cars and
someone's happy.
Pink shoes and a Santa hat.
If you're after a topic, Stubbs, there was another one I threw in the chat earlier.
What's that?
Packy D's?
Yeah, it's restricting Tushi spending, remember?
Oh, yeah,
family
I know which one.
settings.
I know which one that is. Hang on, I know which one that is. Back up again.
See, just because I'm not chatting, I do try to give you guys some topics.
So the Xbox has got an app called Xbox Family Settings app. It's basically you can basically protect your children's Xbox accounts, but as Removable Sanity has been talking in the DM, he thinks that Mr. Tushi's missus should have this for his account, because you can now
animated. I'm sure animator wants it.
Set spending limits.
I have it.
Ask to buy notifications. View your child's account balance. View your child's spending history. Yeah, more features. That's good. That is. I don't use it anymore because it caused me that many problems with playing my boy playing Minecraft and Roblox. That I completely took it off because it was blocks everything. It does. So I had to stop doing it.
So did you find it a hindrance then?
Yeah. If you want to play Roblox, you can't. Kids play Roblox, so they know. We keep an eye on him, but if you play Roblox through that app, it causes you a lot of hindrance because of all the restrictions it puts on it. It doesn't even let you.
So are we saying then Roblox is very, what I'd say then, financial orientated? Yeah,
but it's not just that. It's just the fact that because it has community content on, you have to turn the restrictions off because it's got community. It's all basically community-based content, so you have to drop the restrictions on the app. and it's not at a level where you can say my son or whatever is X amount of age, but you can let them play any game. You can't turn those restrictions off per game and per app. It's a blanket thing.
Does the new app now allow that to happen?
Well, it hasn't mentioned it in the updates, but I haven't looked, really. Because they need an app game by game. Because although Roblox is a kids one, it's got a lot of restrictions on it through this app. It has.
You can accept or deny any app or game, but it has to be that specific. You can or can't play this. Whereas Roblox, inside the game itself, it may be based on kids, but there is say adult-only games and stuff like that, so it can't read into the game what is good and what is bad.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
I believe so. Yes.
So it's the actual game itself that needs
it goes blanket into adult mode. That's why.
Yeah. So if obviously you could say, you could have 15-year-old games, but you can't play Yakuza, for example. If you decided that wasn't a game that was suitable for your child, you could say, nope, not that game, because that's rated. Whereas Roblox, I believe, it's different content within the game.
It is.
So it's
actually not even the developers.
No.
It's not even the developers of Roblox or Meta Games, it's the community.
Yeah, and some of those in there are not to be seen by children's eyes.
I've never had him play in any of them. I do watch what he plays. He plays mostly a lot of the basically what them YouTubers play on YouTube. The ones that they're all right. He is
like the obstacle course things, whatever they're called.
Whatever they are. And, you know. Well, we're basically investors. He gets about $5 a week on Roblox. About basically investors in the company.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, £5 a week.
Yeah, my son has the Roblox thing as well.
I know over time it builds up, but he does.
Well, that's 20 quid a month, and that's what is that? It's almost 200 quid a year.
Yeah, investors.
Yeah, the best my youngest has got is he's got the monthly subscription to Fortnite.
Has he? Oh.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Normally, that's a good idea, but obviously, you know how most people think, you cannot game share that. That does not work. Or can you?
What, game share Fortnite?
No, I mean game share the Fortnite subscription to.
No.
It's
per account. It's per thing. Yeah. Well, the way I looked at it, he gets I think 1,500 or 1,000 V-Bucks every month.
Yeah, they give you 1,000 V-Bucks every month.
But it isn't enough to buy the biggest things. And I thought it was good to say, look, just save it this month, don't spend it, save it for next month, then you'll have double. And I tried to look at it in the respect of it, trying to teach him to save up, a little bit of money-wise later in life. It doesn't work because he spends it anyway and then goes to Mum. Mum can have some V-Bucks.
It reminds me of because they don't see it's real money. It's like I don't know if any of you lot remember years ago on the Xbox store in games. You didn't. Let's get this right. When you bought it was called Microsoft Points. It wasn't real money, was it? Well, it was real money, but you had to buy so many Microsoft Points to buy skins in Gears 3.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually real money. It was, but because you converted it to Microsoft Points, I never used to see it as real money, even though it was.
That's the idea. That was the idea.
I think that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah, it was classified as manipulation because they're basically it was determined that how does a customer identify what they're spending. It was they were finding it was one of these things that was you could easily overspend and not realise it because you rightly said you did not see it as cash.
I didn't.
Yep.
But
here's the thing. What you're trying to do, and you're trying to teach him, hang on to it till next month. If you can get your wife to back you with that, if he spends it, he doesn't get any more. You could actually teach him financial stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is real money. In the end, it is real money. So it's a great time to teach your kid that. You know, that's what a lot of parents do with.
Oh, without doubt.
That's what a lot of parents do with, you know, with allowance. You wanna buy that you wanna buy that MP3 or whatever. You know, you have to spend your own money. Well, I can't afford it. Well, then you better save up for a couple of weeks so you can. You know.
It was a paper round, wasn't it? It was, you know, bottling in a pub. It was paper round, or it was, you know, right, you have to go and wash the car. It was that's what we used to do, wasn't it? Right, you want some cash? Right, you got to work for it. There you go.
You can actually use these systems to teach your kids about budgeting and about, you know.
Teach him the importance of a bad investment and get him to buy some Dogecoin.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you're setting Satoshi off now.
No. If anybody's upset about that, it's me. I'm not even going to admit how much I bought. So there.
That $2.99 was well spent. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's all tanked at the moment, isn't it?
It's going to have to come back.
It
I did warn you, Tisha, didn't I? I did warn you about all this.
I am still.
You didn't warn me. Matter of fact, Miles Dompierre, I think he watches the show. He's the one who encouraged me to buy coins entirely based on cute dog symbols.
Fair enough.
I'm actually interviewing him Friday on this channel.
Bring that up. I'm sure he remembers because I remind him often.
It's an ever-evolving world.
Because I doubled my account on Doge when it went down to 12p about a month ago. So I'm still up. It's just that it's not gone up to what it was a couple of months ago.
Aye,
but it's all good fun. I think I still lost about 60 quid yesterday.
Trust me, I'm sure there's a simulator out there where you can do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, you can. No, I prefer paying real money. It's more fun.
I haven't invested. I've had people say invest in this one, invest in that, but I
wish I had the money. I wouldn't mind. I wish I had that.
Me and you both. That's why I haven't. I think.
I wish I had that income I could utilise. Oh God, yeah. Everything's saving for me.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Just chuck a tenner in when you got one spare and play with it for a bit.
My tenner goes straight on to my kids, mate. Honestly, it's like, oh, we need some nappies. Oh crap. Okay, well there you go. Oh, we need some more milk. All right, fine. You know.
Slip a tenner in your back pocket.
The trouble is, that's the irony. The trouble is, I stick it in the back pocket, and then it's like, oh, fantastic, find it, and somehow my missus knows. I could be in Tesco's, find a £10 in my back pocket, and my mobile will go. 2 seconds later, go, we need some milk.
Do you know a little trick how I used to save money without the wife knowing? This was like when I was married years ago. When I was doing bodybuilding, I used to be on steroids, and it used to cost a lot of money to keep yourself maintained. And what I used to do, I used to drive a 2-litre turbo Saab. It used to cane the fuel. And I used to tell it used to cost like 30 quid more than it does to fill it. Every time I fill the car every couple of days, I'll stick 30 quid in my back pocket.
The trouble is that it's all digital, so you don't have physical money, do you? Where you could probably stuff it in your car somewhere and hide it, and then just build up over it. Now it's all digital. I mean, who really uses cash these days?
I do. I'm a big advocate of cash. I don't want to see a world where everything's on card and everything can be seen. I don't like it.
Old man.
I tell you what, it's a dangerous place where cash isn't used. It's not good because which is what people don't understand. Most people, like removal, you probably can keep track of it, but people with them cars keep going. £400 overdrawn.
I would class myself as a economic. What would I say? Best way to say economic nutter. So, and the best way to describe that is that In some areas, I'm really good with digital. In other areas, I'm probably doing stuff that people would look at me and go, "You're nuts." So, for instance, I pay my bills with a checkbook.
What?
Yeah, and people look at me and go, "You are crazy." And I know the reason I use it as a checkbook, because a checkbook, in England at least, allows me to have a 7-day buffer. So, should my account be a little bit of a problem, I go to the post office, I put it in a check. The system go through, the system tells the other system that I've paid, but it doesn't actually get taken out of my account until 7 days later. So it gives me a buffer. If I did it digitally or by direct debit, it'll be out instantaneous. So yeah, there are things where I am...
Well, you just want your bills paid instantly, not the way.
They're on about phasing
Sometimes I don't have the funds.
but they won't.
What's
They're
the
trying
checkbook,
to, yeah.
What's the checkbook?
It's HSBC.
They haven't phased checkbooks out because of business. Business, believe it or not, businesses still use checkbooks. They do.
Yeah. It's a useful tool. It's a useful tool if you want to try and save some funds, or you don't want money going out directly on that day, and you want to be like you need a bit of a 7-day buffer for when your payday comes in.
I got told that a certain place during these lockdowns wasn't taking cash. Yeah, I did. I said, "There's a tenner here." Well, I says, "You either take it or you don't." So it's not. You ring the police. Go ahead. Guess what? They took it. I said, I'm not coming back with a card. I don't use card. And they took it because the law states that unless I've gobbed over it or unless you stuck it in your mouth, which some people do. I don't know why they stick notes in their mouths before they pay. Then you can refuse it. But otherwise, they accept it because you have to. The law states you have to accept legal tender. So that I always go with it. And most places are happy to accept cash.
India has made a good point. It says PayPal has a pay as a 14-day later option, and I don't use PayPal. That's There's another thing. I don't
take a check. That's why.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't take a check. I'm not interested. But I actually don't use online banking, which is another thing. I don't own credit cards. I told you. Yeah, this is everyone's looking at me. It's like you do all your stuff using mobile systems. You do all this high-tech stuff there, and then at the same time, you are complete opposite on other areas. And I'm literally, as I said, I'm almost like an economic anarchist. I've got 1 foot in the 1950s and 1 foot in the 2030s.
50s? You're in the 40s, you are.
Well, all the time. Speaking,
good job I was sitting down, weak at the knees.
Speaking of accessibility, all this online stuff gives me the option to be able to buy stuff and pay for stuff, and without it, I'd be screwed.
Amazon.
Next you'll tell me. So next you'll tell me you drive a Ford Pop next.
Did I just hear you? Did you say you don't use online banking?
No. Only account I've got online is actually is Amazon. I've only got an Amazon account.
Do you know why I use online banking? Because I found out when you need to ring the bank, they ask you 45,000 bastard security questions, right? If you've got that online banking on your phone, you click through and they know exactly who you are because the phone verifies it. You don't have to tell them what bill you paid last month and what security verification. That's the only reason I got it on my phone. If you ever have to ring them, they know exactly who you are. There's no, you've got to answer these 6 security questions. It goes straight through.
What is your mum's maiden names, dog's last, vet bill and
all that
stuff like that. Yeah,
that's why I do it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, again, don't get me wrong. My missus is more online than I am, but I've got the two opposites of my character. Something way back in the 40s and 50s, and then something in the future. I don't know. It just seems to work for me. I'm just a bit weird. That's me, though.
You are bloody weird.
That's why my name's Removal Sanity. I'm always sane.
Online banking's great, and taking we use the Barclays system, and PayPal system is instant payment, into your bank. Now Barclays, on the other hand, when the customer pays you, Barclays are very strange. Barclays actually don't pay you into your bank there and then. They will pay it in 2 or 3 days later, and you'll have to go through the invoices and match them up. It's quite difficult compared to PayPal. But PayPal's the better system. Barclays, which we have to use because of the accounts, they drop money in 2 or 3 days later, and you've got to literally work out which customer's who and what paid what. You got to match it up. But PayPal run the better system. But you'd think they'd have a better system than that, wouldn't you? But
Sounds like Barclays is sitting on your money for interest for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of places
it's a bit
do
weird.
that, actually.
I don't know why they do it. It makes it complicated. Like PayPal, the customer pays you. You can see it on your phone instantly. You can see exactly the payment. And the Barclays, it takes a couple of days, and I don't know why they do it. We're supposed to be in the modern 21st century. We are, but
Yeah, it's the same thing with like direct debit for bills and that. You know, I've never done that either because I've had so many problems with the gas and electric people overcharging. And it's like then they just sit on your money for a good 3 or 4 months and get that interest, and then go, oh, it's now part of your tally. And it's like, you sods.
In the game has got a point with you.
Welcome to Home Financial with the Stubbs cast.
Yeah, welcome to it. Yeah. We can save you money. Game Pass Ultimate is going right now at.
You do all this, and then you said, "What about your editing process when you do it on a phone?" You're very modern. Look at that.
That's what I said. I said I've got two options. I've got one side of me that's stuck in the 50s, and the other side of me, is trying to future-proof. It's a clash of two opposites.
Have you got one of those dialer phones where you put your finger in and spin it round?
I have. Do you know, it's the one thing I don't have? I don't actually have a home phone because I've got rid of my landline. Because it's like, what do I don't use it for? My mobile's become affected with my landline.
For a minute, I thought you were going to say you had a party line. You know, when you have to get on there, Clara, can you give me a call? Yeah.
Yeah. That's Tushy. Yeah, easy. Right. Okay, put it through.
Yeah.
How did this conversation even start?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
We'll go through the VOD later and find out.
I'm gonna move right on and just interrupt a little bit and ask a friendly pest a couple of questions if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
One of them being your Sea of Thieves little shanty thing.
You listened to it then?
Oh, absolutely loved it. It
good.
just wanted me. I hope we've all listened to it. If you haven't in chat, please do go on a friendly pest and listen to it, especially if you're into Sea of Thieves. Yeah. Tell us about why, because it's not something that's often done.
This I'm not exactly organized, so this is going to be a bit rambly. For the longest time, I've tried to teach myself how to play guitar or ukulele, and I had this idea in my mind that eventually I'd be able to play kind of folk music around a campfire. And that idea has always been in the back of my head, despite the fact that my skill level plateaued pretty early and it wasn't really possible or reasonable. I think everybody appreciates sea shanties and what they represent and the crews singing together to stay focused. And when I played that Tall Tale in Sea of Thieves, the third one, and that song Hoist the Colors was featured, it kind of spoke to me, it inspired me. And we had recently rebooted the Carry On Gaming podcast. Dan, Stefan, and then Chris will be joining us. And I thought, how cool would it be if we came together to do even just an a cappella version of that shanty? And in the early days while we're trying to figure out how to do it, I reached out to an old work colleague of mine that is a hobbyist music composer, Chris, otherwise Universe 25. And he was inspired by the song as well, I would say. He built a bass track using virtual instruments on some software he has. And then he sent that to us to try to time our lyrics so we would at least be in sync with each other, which was a total train wreck. That took 2 or 3 tries apiece. Myself, 3 days, probably 3 hours each session, pure frustration. 65 degrees in the basement, so nice and cool. I would still come upstairs soaked in sweat and my hands sore from punching the desk. And finally got a take that I was happy with and sent to him. And then he built out the special effects, the sound of us being on a boat with the wind and the creeks and the lightning, and then the music on that. And we couldn't be happier with the result. We're really proud of it.
Awesome. Not only have I shared it out on Twitter and everything else, and I'm actually getting my friends at work said, just have a listen to this.
Absolutely. And I would say good. I expected people to like it and I'm our biggest fan. I think it's fantastic. And we built 3 or 4 different versions of the song, and then everybody listened to them. And then everybody voted on the version that we finally uploaded. But I couldn't be happier, and I really, my dream was that eventually Rare would see it and maybe appreciate that we came together to make this because we liked their Tall Tales so much. And I mean, that hasn't been realized yet, but maybe at some point. And I also think that we didn't do ourselves a favor because the production quality was so good that you might assume that we knew what we were doing. And that's really not the case. It was absolutely a collection of talentless knuckleheads that came together and somehow pulled that off. And it's part of the reason I'm so proud.
It was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was very good. It was good.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of a dream realized, and a memory made. I think it's corny as hell, but we'll always remember when we came together to hoist the colors, never shall we die. Immortalized in song. So pleased with the result.
Was it on Amazon Music, was it as well?
I do not believe that we've managed that. I think the only place we've uploaded it is YouTube because we were afraid of copyright violations because it's a cover. But we did not copy music and play the music. It was composed virtually with instruments.
That is really cool. That is awesome.
Oh, and it's something that we're going to do moving forward. The little podcast, Carry On Gaming. We're going to make music for different games as they're coming that inspire us. We've kind of already got the next one picked out, and I think Dan's going to be the feature on that, so that'll be fun. And he's got much better vocal range than I do too. When that final take, I was so frustrated and mad that it just worked out that I sound kind of fitting for the Crew of the Damned. But I'm looking forward to what we do next, and maybe make this a thing with games coming down the pipe that we can make these tributes to them, and hopefully the developers appreciate them. And if nothing else, it is a lot of fun.
I can see it in come November. You'll be releasing another video for Halo, and you'll be singing in the bathroom, won't you?
That's going to happen. I'm gonna try to do it in the man cave because the man cave has excellent acoustics. But I have the worst laptop you've ever seen. It's an old, Acer netbook.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely useless. I can't believe they sold it as a product. And there are a few people that I would attack on site, but maybe the guy who said that thing was functional. But I want to get some better equipment and go out in the man cave where the acoustics are better and a better recording microphone with kind of a spit filter and maybe some dampening behind it. My recording setup was really pretty pathetic for that, but Maybe we'll get recognized. Maybe they'll see it. If it makes them smile, it was worth it because we are so proud of it.
Yeah. The other question I had as well is you said you've sort of revitalized your podcast. What made you stop doing it anyway? I mean, did you do one and stop and start again, or?
Yeah, the old Twitter account still exists. If you search for Carry On Gaming, you're going to find 2 Twitter accounts, and that's because we actually lost the keys to the other one to even delete it. I think we were able to delete the old YouTube channel, but we wanted to start over, and it was Steph and Dan and I again back in the day, and life was pretty complicated then. I transitioned from one job to another job, and they were both going through some stuff, and we kind of just didn't make the effort to put out consistent content. I think we had 3 or 4 episodes before we stopped. And today we recorded our 4th plus the song. So we're on track doing a little better job. This time we want to be more consistent, but really the goal is just to have a good time.
Awesome. I mean, obviously the reason I ask these questions is because obviously I want to get the people in chat to know who you are if they don't. Obviously me and Tushy have both interacted with you several times, and we follow you on Twitter and obviously like your videos and podcasts and stuff. So I just thought, a little introduction, just to get the chat to know who you are.
And I appreciate the opportunity. If they'd also check out Dan and Stefan, and then Chris, if he ever creates a Twitter account. They're great. Nobody's in charge of our podcast. We're all equal co-hosts, and if somebody's passionate about something, they get their way on it. And we've butt heads on that a few times already, but it seems like a fair way to run the thing, and we'll see. But also, I couldn't do it without them, and we balance each other well. We've got, I think, diverse likes, backgrounds, and opinions, and I think it makes a fun show.
Yep, we do that both here and on the other podcast I'm on, just because I wouldn't be on a podcast where there was a bunch of people agreeing all the time. I won't do it.
Obviously here, that's kind of what I try to do. So it's like Cerebral was passionate about the main topic, and obviously animated ask some questions out. That's what I like to do. I'm not. It's not like massive. You know, they get these podcasts where the host has to say it and only him or her, and it's regimented. It's not here. It's like you see, we ended up talking about cash and carbs.
Yeah.
It's very random here. It is some weeks. We can end up anywhere the conversation can.
I really do appreciate you guys having me on. It's my first time doing a live show, and then, I mean, the nerves are showing, but I've enjoyed this, and thank you.
Now you do.
Oh, you've done really well for your first live podcast.
You can't see me shaking. You don't know.
Hey,
We've all been there.
This is old hat now. You'll soon be on many more and doing live, and trust me, I was pulled in by a gentleman by accident, and there we go. I'm on lots now, so.
Dan made a comment earlier, didn't he? At the start and said, "Are you shaking?"
No, that's a different inside joke that I will not explain.
He actually asked. I missed that one, but I think I did see. He said to ask you, but that's.
Yeah, that's something else. But I won't go into too much detail on that. But we're also going to try to host some guests on our show as well, though much smaller following. And I look forward to bringing you guys on when the time comes to, not just for the extra voice, but to highlight what you guys bring to the community, because the gaming community has been so accepting to me and my friends when we do get to join in. It's awesome, and then we want to share what we can in the same capacity.
Cool.
Yeah.
All I can say is just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing very well. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
And if you enjoy it, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, I thought I'd be on Rogan by now, but that's cool.
Well, Stubbs is bald, so it's kind of similar.
It's very
You could
close.
call Stubbs the British. It could be called Stubbs. Could be the British version of Rogan. So
British
Yeah,
yoga.
no.
I like it.
yeah,
Can I sense some borderism going on here?
There you go. It's a thing left out there. But you make up for it with your fucking beard. We'll make you a toupee and put it in your head.
No.
Your beard. Pin him to the floor. Shave him. So he can't get up.
No.
Oh.
You can't shave him. It's not allowed. Because if you pick on him, that means you'll pick on me as well, and I don't want that.
Looks like Pest just gained a follower.
Oh, the indie gamer's following you now.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate it, though. Follow him back.
But yes,
Well,
it's been a good
quiet,
show.
come
It's
on.
been a good show tonight. It has. Thanks for coming on, A Friendly Pest. Can you tell people where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @AFriendlyPest because I lack creativity otherwise. And again, co-host on the Carry On Gaming podcast. Once again, there are two Twitter accounts for that, but the more active one obviously is the current one.
They can also find you in your man cave.
I do. That might be a conversation for a different day. What a project that was.
I watched it step by step. It was impressive.
I was so happy with how it turned out. So that was a dream 15 years in the making realized. So
It's paid off, isn't it? That's the main thing.
yeah, absolutely. And I fortunately built it right before wood tripled in price. So the timing was right.
very
was-
lucky.
Fortunate enough that my new house cost less than my old house, so I had a little bit of money extra left over to refinish an area and build a man cave that I'm pretty proud of. So I have pictures of that on the Twitter account also if you want to check that out. Very proud of it.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. I'll have to check that out. I will. That sounds good. That does. So yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been you've done really well considering it's the first time going live on air on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
When you've finished, you'll think, I can do that again.
Yeah,
You'll look
I'll be
forward to the next
itching to get on again. I'll be reaching out. Hey, if you got an open spot.
Definitely have to get you on again in the future. We will. And Cerebral Paul, thanks for coming on.
Oh, no problem. Again, always fun. You can find me at Cerebral. Okay, let's try that again. You can find me at CerebralPaul1 on Twitter, Cerebral Paul on Twitch, and Cerebral Paul 921 on Xbox, and Cerebral Paul at YouTube And you can find me here every Wednesday. You can find me on Good Morning Xbox every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I've just changed time zones, so I have to readjust myself. And let's see, anywhere else? Of course, then on Tuesdays I tend to pop into retro gaming. The retro. All of a sudden I can't talk.
Retro Renegades, Paul.
Retro, yeah, whatever the name of that thing. So, and that's about it. And you can, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I'm a very mouthy person lately. So there you go.
Oh, you forgot something. Are you going to be a host of something this weekend and going forward?
Oh, that thing. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. This Saturday, I will actually be hosting the community game night for the North America. We start it after the UK one. This week we're gonna blood run from the other. They're gonna end with Titanfall 2, and I'm gonna start with Titanfall 2. So hopefully some of that group will carry over. And I will be hosting community game night this week because Noof is not around, and hopefully I'll be co-hosting with him from here on out, at least for the foreseeable future, to help him out. So
nice.
So add me on Xbox, and then the way that works is just when our time starts, I'll be running the party. So send them, just jump into my party. Before that, jump into Animated Evil and Mr. Tushy's party for the UK side, and usually it ends up being about 6 to 8 hours of fun playing different games throughout the day.
Sounds good. I've just got one more comment from you, from someone in the chat called, I think I'm getting it right, effing nuisance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry I'm behind in the stream, but thank you so much for speaking up, Paul. I have bad arthritis in my fingers and wrists, and I'm having issues with my right eye and learning difficulties. But things are getting better, but the stigma around this is horrible again. Thank you, Paul, and everyone talking about and highlighting this.
Oh, we're glad to do it. That's why I'm around.
Yeah, so thanks. And
Yep.
thanks to Removable for making an appearance this week. It was good to have you on. The conversation was really good. I knew it would be if you were back, most definitely.
You mean just because I still don't stop talking?
And he made it a full 2 hours without the baby crying. So
It's yeah. Well, that's what happens when you're in the shed. You're outside the house, so you can't hear it at the moment. But no, thank you again for even having me on here. I always appreciate any option.
mine, or not
mine.
my roommates.
Oh, okay.
That's
Don't
fine.
matter.
Again, thank you for just having me on. I'm just appreciate any option to talk. You know, I will talk regardless. So any option to have me on is fantastic. I appreciate it. And for those who wish to find me, I'm on Twitter under Removal Sanity, and I'm also on YouTube, Minds, and Xbox under the same name as well. So if you want to give me a chat, please do so.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's good to have you on again. We may see you next week. We may not. It all depends. It does.
It all depends on my little one, my newborn, unfortunately.
Yeah. And Animated Evil, thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank
As
you for
always.
having me. As always, thank you guys. Friendly Pest, been a pleasure as always. Removable, nice to have you back. Tushy,
Thank you.
Paul, Stubbs, again every week. Thank you for having me. Appreciate these little chats/rants we have. Our discussions are awesome. But I'd like to thank the most important people in here, which is the chat, which has been very busy tonight. I've been struggling to keep up somewhat. You are all amazing. Thank you.
Amen.
I reckon it's been the busiest one in quite a while for the chat.
It's slower next
People
time.
watching.
It's been going a little bit. I've been, struggling to keep up. Yeah, you can find me here every Wednesday. You can find me over on 4GQTV on a Thursday. Most importantly, you can find me on Twitter at animated_evil. And then if you follow me on there, you can see when I stream on Twitch/YouTube. So there you go.
But yeah,
That's me.
Thanks for coming on. And Mr. Tushi,
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having again. It's been a pleasure. I'm half asleep. I don't look it, but one of my eyes is half asleep, it feels like. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter as Mr. Tushy. You can find me on YouTube. I need to sort out an outro, so it's a standard. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube as Mr. Tushy Gaming. I think it is. That's about it.
Community game night.
Yeah, you're going to plug community game night this week.
He's tired, bless him.
Do you want to do it or shall I? Because I can't remember what we're playing. Yes, you can join me and Tushy on Fridays and Saturdays on a community game night we co-host together. Friday we are playing
Forza Horizon 4.
And only that game. We can, if it's not too busy and we decide to go over something else, we sometimes do. No. On Saturday we are playing. Saturday we are playing
Rainbow Six Siege and Titanfall 2.
Yes, we are. Please just join us, Mr. Tushy, on Xbox and Animated Evil 857. We'll both be in the same party to start with, and if it gets busy, I will drop out and do a second.
Happens many times.
It does happen many times.
And then once it stops, go on to Cerebrals.
Oh, we'll drag him across. It's fine.
So you can find me at Stubbs Gaming, and this Friday, the Stubbs Cast, the Content Creator podcast returns. I have Miles Dompierre from Windows Central Gaming for an interview, so that'll be fun. 5 p.m. EST, 10 p.m. British Summer Time, and 2 p.m. PST. So if you want to check it out live, you can, or if you want to watch after on YouTube, and it will also be available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and many more. As are these shows as well. If you want to catch them after, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps boost the algorithm. But thank you for coming on, everyone, and thanks to the chat. You've been really engaging and contributed to the conversation tonight. It's been really good. If any of you want to leave a future community question, DM me or DM one of the co-hosts to the show. I always put it on Twitter. Nobody's interested in asking anything community question wise for the show. I had one question one week, then no one left any, so I gave up with it.
That was from me, wasn't it?
So, no, that was. I must have missed your one. I
think I suggested
one.
what was. No, I think mine was what does Tushy eat on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's probably why it didn't get mentioned.
Yeah, okay.
But if you want to have one, we'll talk about it next week on the show. Give us a DM or even me, Tushy, animated or removable. They will all pass it on. They will. But anyway, thanks everyone for coming on. And thanks for the chat.
If you send it to me, I'm not telling them shit. So that's just the way it works. Yeah.
And our friendly pest, thanks for coming on. It was good to have you on.
Thank you.
And you're always welcome back.
Oh,
yeah.
Might take you up on that after recover from this one. I'm all stressed out.
But yeah, I'd like to thank the chat. There was loads of people, but I will have a go at Sins Gaming, Animated Evil, Indie Gamer, Matt Barnes, Assassin Looper. It's Timmy.
He's so close, isn't he? He's so close.
I can't do it like you.
Timmy.
That's it. Sheesh.
I just want to say one thing to Sins Gaming is about I bet Tushy eats sushi. True story. I had sushi in a restaurant once and I threw up on the table. It was disgusting.
Oh, really? Oh,
Never again.
Factions now elite. Try not to. Yeah, I can't. It's not scrolling back no further. But thanks to everyone that popped in. I really appreciate it. So I'll see you all next week.
It's nice.
It's
Have fun,
nice.
guys.
Bye.